There are a couple phrases that business owners commonly say that I believe really prohibit growth and progress. Changing how we use and react to these phrases will make a world of difference. Stay tuned to hear what they are.
Running a service business can be hard. It is not unusual for business owners in industries like contracting, home repair, auto repair, business-to-business services like janitorial, IT and accounting, and many others to feel overwhelmed by all the priorities facing them at any given time. Between addressing the needs of the customers, managing the employees, figuring out the financials, and getting processes in place, feeling like you're making significant progress on your business journey can be difficult. Welcome to Service Industry Success, hosted by Brian Harding. Each week, Brian will look at real-world strategies for building the business you are dreaming of, while also sharing tactics to get through some of the most frustrating parts of business ownership with a lot more ease. Let's get started.
So I'm going to tell a quick story about a conversation I heard. I was at a presentation not long ago, and there was a lady there talking about the daycare industry and different government programs and other stuff going on. And during this presentation, she said a phrase that just kind of struck me because it's something I hear a lot, especially with new clients, but also just when I speak at industry associations and I do classes and things like that. These kinds of phrases come up very regularly, and it really hampers people's ability to make progress in certain things. So in this case, the lady doing the presentation was talking about how difficult the daycare industry is. And I agree. There's no question. It's got to be one of the most difficult ones out there. The costs of daycare are tremendous. If you have a young family and you're trying to work and you're trying to put your kids in daycare, the costs are exorbitant. It takes a huge percentage of most people's salaries. Also, the employees are paid basically minimum wage, and you can't pay less than that. They're really in a tough spot. There's tons of regulatory stuff. There's tons of insurance requirements. Like this, it's a tremendously difficult business. There's no question. And I empathize with that. But the thing that the person said during the presentation was a thing that I hear people say all the time. And once this statement or these kinds of statements are made, progress stops or slows dramatically. And the statement was this: you guys don't understand how difficult it is in this industry. And the example she was talking about was in the daycare industry. For example, if you're doing daycare for infants, you can only have something like 4 infants per daycare worker. The ratio is something like 4 to 1. In her presentation, she said, but you guys don't understand how difficult it is. They have this ratio they have to maintain of only 4 infants per daycare worker. And that's true. We would not have known that going in. But it's not that different. It's not unique. It's not any different than any other industry having certain kinds of things that they have to adhere to. Some industries, like in the trades, for example, you can only have 1 journeyman for 2 apprentices or 1 apprentice. Like there's ratios in situations like that. There's ratios. If you're a cashier at a grocery store, you can only have 1 cashier per lane and 1 bagger per lane. Like and that maybe is a sillier example, but my point is this phrase or a version of this phrase are things I hear a lot, especially again when I do classes for groups of people in a particular industry, but also when I start working with clients one-on-one, or I meet people who are maybe interested in working with someone like me. I hear this statement more than just about anything else, some version of it. And here's a few examples. It's different for us. That's one I hear pretty often. Or you don't understand. It's different for us. Yeah, but it's different in our industry. Our industry is unique. We have problems in our industry that others don't have. And these things might all be true. Kinda. It is true probably that the specific problem that is being cited is unique probably. Roofing contractors don't have to worry about the number of daycare providers per infant child. That is true. But I promise you, they have a problem that's nearly exactly the same. There is not that much variance in the types of problems we have in service industries. Now, again, I'm not talking product-based businesses; those are different. I'm not talking about selling, other things that are not in our service world. But what I am saying is, in our service world, the specific way a problem manifests itself might be different, but it's not that different. The problem that people have in nursing is not that much different than people have in accounting. It's just not. And I say this as somebody who has worked with a large number of business owners in dozens of industries now. When you step back and look at, well, what is the problem we have here? It's, in this case, it was some kind of compliance or regulatory. Okay, well, name an industry that doesn't have compliance and regulatory issues to deal with. Name an industry that doesn't have some kind of restriction on how many employees you can have doing a thing, whether it's because of you can only fit so many people in a workspace, or the law requires it, or something like that. Name an industry that hasn't had a hard time hiring people. The types of things that are cited as this unique thing for a business owner are not unique things. They're the specifics are a little bit different. There's no question about that. That the things that the daycare people are going to face are not the same thing specifically as the accounting firm. But generally speaking, they are the same kinds of issues. And what happens though is, because once these words are uttered, yeah, but you don't understand, it's different. Or yeah, but our industry is different. Yeah, but our industry is unique and special in this way. That's where the conversation ends. That's the period on the end of the statement. And then that kind of trumps any desire or legitimacy to trying to find a solution, because, well, it's different for us. Yeah, I mean, I would get help if I could, but nobody understands because it's different for us. Nobody's ever done this before. And again, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's kind of the implication, that I would listen if somebody had some advice, but it's different for us, so nobody has any advice. No, this is an unsolvable problem, or only people in our industry can understand. And again, that's where the progress stops or dramatically slows, because when we leave that hanging out there, now what? Well, if this is such a unique problem that nobody else can understand, well, then what are we supposed to do? It really diminishes our desire to try to take it on, is what happens, right? So here's what I would recommend: prepare a genuine, sincere rebuttal for those moments we find ourselves making a statement that gives us a pass like this, right? Because it's different in my industry. And examples could be, again, this is something you may just say to yourself, maybe something you just think to yourself. But there's going to be moments where we're going to say or think this thing like, yeah, but it's different here. And we need to have a rebuttal to give ourselves, to kind of say, okay, and I still got to move on. I still have to overcome this. I still have to solve the problem. Like, the end of the period at the end needs to be, and now I must go do something, not now I must stop because, or slow down, or not worry about this so much because it's an unsolvable problem. Like, we need to give ourselves, we need to finish the conversation with ourselves, with our industry group, with our friends, with whatever, with a call to action, not a plausible reason to not act. So examples can include, again, just simple things like, so what? I still have to overcome this challenge. Like, it's different in our industry. Okay, so what? I still have to figure it out, right? One that I've liked for many years that works for me. You can certainly use this. You don't have to. My version is, if it was easy, everyone would do it and it wouldn't pay that well. Meaning, you're talking about running a business. Like, the reason business owners make a lot of money is because it's really hard and there's a lot of risk and there's no simple answers. And it takes tons and tons of hours and tons of energy. And you have to work through lots of disappointment and anxiety and frustration. And a lot of people won't do it. That's why it pays well. So that's kind of my version. Another version could be, again, response to, yeah, but it's different for our industry, or yeah, our industry is unique. Still, this would be the response, possibly. Still, somewhere, somebody is crushing it in this industry, facing these exact same problems. Again, that now puts it back in my lap. Like, okay, that's true. Yeah, this sucks. Okay, now what? Now I got to figure it out. Another response could be, And that's why I'm in the position I am, to figure this kind of stuff out. Or again, another just super simple one is, our industry is different. So what? How do I overcome it? Again, something to end that conversation with a call to action on me, putting the responsibility back on me to go do something, go fix the thing, go figure out a solution, go do market research if necessary, go do something, right? Because if we leave it with, yeah, but my industry is different. Yeah, but you don't understand it. Or, and again, this could just be a conversation to ourselves as we're driving down the road. This really sucks, but yeah, nobody understands it because it's different for us. Well, if that's where we leave it, then we don't have a call to action to do anything, and we're just at the mercy of whatever happens. Well, that's not how you grow a business. I don't know anybody who's built a business at the mercy of circumstance. That's not how it works. We identify the crummy situation, and then we go make it better. that's what we do, right? So what I see is people make this statement, and again, I don't mean this like it's a conscious, like they're looking for a way out of it. That's not what I mean by this at all. It just kind of falls out of their mouth. Yeah, but it's different for us. Yeah, I know what you're saying. That would work for somebody else, but you don't understand. We have this other thing. Yeah, but the other thing is no different than somebody else's other thing. The specific way it manifests itself might be unique, yes. But the type of problem it is, I promise, is not unique. We all have people problems, employees and customers. We all have process and procedure problems. We all have profitability problems. Like we got to spend X and make Y. There's inputs on financials and outputs on financials. We all have planning things. We all have training things. We all have leadership things. Like the buckets that these types of problems fall into are few. There's not 147,000 different kinds of problems. There's a handful or two handfuls. And again, the specific way they manifest themselves will be different, yes. But the type of problem it is generally not that unique, right? So what I see is people making this statement that kind of takes the problem out of their hands. Again, subconsciously, not consciously. Like, well, I can't wait to drop this in somebody else's lap. That's not how this goes. It just kind of falls out of their mouth, and then that's where it just sits. Okay, well, this is a unique thing. Nobody's ever figured this out. So why should I bother? And that's not where I think we should leave it. That progress does stop there or dramatically slow versus, yeah, it's unique. This is a unique thing for our industry, and somebody out there is crushing it. And this is why we make a lot of money when we're successful. And that's why I'm here, is to solve these kinds of problems. That's a different way to end that conversation, whether it's internally, externally, talking to somebody else, talking to a spouse, talking to a friend, an industry peer, whatever it is. That's a different way to end that conversation. I would really recommend that folks have that rebuttal ready, because this is going to happen. We're human. We're going to have moments where you're just like, this sucks. I wish it didn't. Okay. Yeah, it does. And that's why I'm here. That's why I have this job. That's why I'm in this position. It's on me, right? So just have a prepared, I would just recommend having a prepared response. Again, I shared mine. Mine is, if it was easy, everyone would do it and it wouldn't pay that well. But have one that works for you. And again, make it a sincere one, a genuine. This is not a time to be snarky with ourselves or not understanding. Like these are sincere, genuine problems. They really are. And these things do suck sometimes. And we still have to fix them. So we need to have that prepared response. That's just like an auto reply. I say this thing, boom, here's a response. Yeah, but this is different. Yeah. And that's why I'm here. So anyhow, I hope that helps. These are the kinds of things that are little, not procedural stuff, not employee stuff, but these things do. This kind of thing does have a real impact on how likely we are to tackle things, and that likelihood of tackling or not tackling problems is one of the most significant factors in growing a business or not growing a business. So anyhow, if you find this information helpful, please share this podcast with a friend or colleague that you think could benefit from it. Of course, public sharing is appreciated also, but super easy nowadays. Yeah, you click on the little share icon and you text it or email it to somebody. You never know when a business owner friend might come across some information that really changes their life and makes their life a lot easier. And you think if somebody they could benefit from that, please share it with them. Other than that, appreciate you tuning in, and I'll talk to you all next week.